Hello guys and welcome back to Hey Manager with me Alex, and today it's episode 22 and it's the start of season 3. It's the big transfers, it's the Premier League, and this has been a very exciting window. I'm going to bring you straight away all of the transfers that have gone on with us so far and where we start off this season. A few of the tactics and just a bit of an introduction for this episode, but it's mainly based on transfers. So let's get into probably the top 5, maybe the top 6 top sort of transfers we've done, and then we'll get into every single transfer that's gone on, just so I can try and keep this as a nice compact episode. I've recorded this once before. I was talking for about 40 minutes and I just couldn't cut it down enough. It was a 30-minute episode. So let's try and make this nice and succinct. I'll join you for the first transfer. So first of all, one of the main ones that you might not be surprised by, Sidney van Hooijdonk has left. The man who allowed me to use a very strange sound effect, has disappeared. He's gone to Elche. Now, I just didn't want to keep him at the club. He had 32 games last year. He had 10 appearances off the bench, 22 starts, 5 goals. In the cup itself, he had a pretty good run, but a 6.63. It was probably not his worst year yet, but his second to worst year. And then you look at him going to Elche for 2 million, well, 2 million more than we bought him for. We bought him for about 2 million, 1.9. He's gone there for 3.9. At a minimum cost to us. It just wasn't great enough. So, you know, throughout the season, not consistent. Van Hooijdonk, he's gone out the door. Next up, the second biggest transfer we've made, Bailey Peacock-Farrell. He's left. So, at the very start of the window, I started seeing wanted by Bailey Peacock-Farrell. I thought, brilliant. You know, as a goalkeeper that has been, again, very average for us. Someone that I can't really rely on. He's not he's had an average year. It's an average year, isn't it? 6.73, it's an average one. And to be honest with you, I just wanted to get rid of him anyway. And then Al Hilal was sniffing around for him. They offered 5 million. I said, whoa, don't take the mick. I want 15. And they just said yes. So 15 million potential cost, 13 million up front minimum. That's absolutely massive for us. That's near enough double. That is double what we actually paid in transfers last year. Someone that I wanted to get off the books, 28 years of age, came in on a free. He's Northern Ireland's #1 goalkeeper, but he was, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, if we signed him now, he'd be a practical signing. He would be practical. So overall, just a very average goalkeeper, and yeah, it's just someone that I thought for 15 million, I've got to take that money. Then, final ones of the outs, Devin Hine. Devin Hine has left, and he's gone to Norwich for £17.5 million. I really can't understand it. So I was weighing up what I do with my strikers. So Van Hooijdonk left. I thought, do I have to keep Devin Hine? Now, Devin Hine scored last year for us 10 goals in 30 games, 6 off the bench. Overall, he played 26 games. You can see at the bottom here. 10 off the bench, 12 goals, 2 assists. He has a 6.9 rating. I had such mixed feelings about him. At the start of the year, I thought, right, 19-20, he's going to really plow on, he's gonna improve a lot. He didn't really improve too much. I think, you know, if you look at he's very average across the board. Mentally, the 12s and 13s. Again, for physicals, you're looking at maybe 13s, 14s in agility and balance. But then his passing doesn't allow him to be this attacking midfielder that I could play him as, or even as a shadow striker, he doesn't allow that. His dribbling is very good, so he could play attacking midfielder as a dribbler. But his finishing at first touch and technique aren't brilliant either. He can't drift out wide. He's not got great long shots. He's 5'9", so he's not winning many headers. I didn't know what to do with him. Let's just put it that way. And I had him on about 9k a week, which wasn't bad. I could have kept him at the club, but I thought, at 21 years of age, are you really going to progress into something massive? Are you going to reach this 4-star potential that he had a 5-star potential near enough with us? I just didn't think he would. And at 21 years of age, I sold him on 17.5 million. Straight up, I couldn't understand it. It was unbelievable. So yeah, so between him and Peacock-Farrell, 30 million, and we got both of them on a free. So 30 million, that is, as I say, that's probably around about 4 times as much as we paid last year for transfers, which is unbelievable amounts of money for us, and we've spent it wisely. Let me now bring you the transfers that have come into the club. So I'll bring you the 3 big ones, and to start off, Amari Hutchinson. Now you're probably wondering, why have you signed him? What have you done with him? Chelsea let him go on a free, and since we've been promoted, he was a bit interested. He was a bit interested in Amari Hutchinson. It was a pretty good tactic for me to bring him in on the free. You know, his contract was running out. Did they actually want to keep him on? He had a pretty average year for us last year. If you look at it, the 3 assists, 18 games, but 10 games to start, 8 off the bench. He had a 7.27 in the cup because he did pretty well in the cup. Obviously coming on off the bench and then scoring against Everton it was when we got knocked out 4-3. But nearly got us the winning goal in that game. Then in the league, 6.89. He played very well. You know, his passing completion, shots on target. You know, he was fouls against was 18. So he's very technical, very slippery player. As you can see, 15 dribbling, 14 first touch. And I think as playing him in this attacking midfielder role, which is where I like him, Great acceleration, great agility. Even if I want to play him as a shadow striker, his stamina's not brilliant, but I quite like him. I do really like him in that position because if you see here his attacking ability, I know 12 long shots and whatever, but I just thought instead of having Devin Hine as a backup, I brought him in for a free, got rid of Devin Hine. His player traits is something that I absolutely adore. Runs through the centre, gets into the opposition area, tries killer balls, which is brilliant. I know his passing's not great, but he tries killer balls. Plays 1s, 2s, which is also great. Lobs the keeper and likes the ball played into his feet. I think he'd be a very good role player in the future. Very good, like, at 21 years of age. I can see him being at Birmingham for years and years and years now. But I think it'd be a very good role model, should I say, to some of the younger talent that might come in the future. And I think, yeah, great investment, 26.5k a week. Can't really complain with Amari Hutchinson. Next up, and it's one of the two big ones. It's one of the two big ones. Cameron Archer joins us from Sheffield United. I actually touched on whether or not I wanted to bring him in last year. I wanted him. I really wanted him, but I didn't think I'd be able to afford him. Managed to afford him because he was trying to leave the club. So he requested to leave. We obviously beat Sheffield United in the final. Then he wanted to leave, and because he didn't want to spend another year in the Championship. He wants to be a Premier League player. As you can see here, he was at Aston Villa for the majority of his career. 6 games for them in 22-23. Then went back to them in 23-24. Played a few games. Went to Sheffield United, who were in the Premier League. Scored 7 goals for them, a 6.61, which wasn't fantastic. But then again, that would have been 2 years ago now when he was 21. So a lot of pressure on a young man's shoulders. Then he went into the Championship with them, stayed with them a year, 20 goals, 6th player in the match award, 7.03 in a Sheffield United team that weren't fantastic, weren't very creative going forward. We've brought him in for 20 million with a potential additional cost of 3 million. But for me, this is very, very good. This is exactly what I wanted in a striker. 5'7", he could be a little bit taller. He's got good strength though, so it shows he'd be able to get in behind and maybe shrug off a few goalkeepers, shrug off a few defenders. But he's got an excellent potential rating for the first team. Now they do say he's a good Championship player, but I think he's better than that. I think this man will do pretty well for us in the Premier League. And yeah, that's the first of 2 big signings. The next one is interesting. João Gomez. Now this man, I admire him in real life. I think he's a very, very good player in real life. But for me now, I can't believe we managed to get him in. So we've signed him from Wolves for 20.5 million up front, 27.5 million potential additional included add-ons. Might be play a few games here, a few games there. It's one of them. But 20.5 million, 27.5 million in the future. 16.75 Wolves paid for him from Flamengo. I think he's going to be fantastic for us. To play that ball-winning midfielder role, I don't think there's much better than him out there. I mean, look at the aggression 16, work rate 16, determination 16, bravery 16, teamwork 16. This is the type of player I want to try and have in my side. Aggression, bravery, determination, positioning, teamwork and work rate. A mental squad, an absolutely mental side that are so aggressive, want to win the ball back, just absolute workhorses. And then to accompany that, 15 marking, 15 tackling, 14 dribbling and 14 first touch with 13 long shots. He's pretty good. And then physically, you're averaging around about a 14. I think he's so good. You compare him to likes of Peter Atibo for the run show. He's just a little bit of a step above. He's an elite player for us, and he's definitely not a Championship player. I don't know why it says that. 50 million he's now worth. If we don't manage to stay up, he's got a relegation release clause of 36.5 million. So either way, if he doesn't manage to reach all them add-ons, 20.5 million that we've paid for him makes 16 million on him if we get relegated. But for me, the make and break season, this man's going to be magical for us. And now I'll go through just a very high level who's left the club and who's not. So we can have a look here. We've got a lot of players leaving on a free, some loans going out. So Yannick Eduardo, as you can see there, he's left the club on loan. 19 years of age. I brought him in. He's what I thought Devin Hine might be, but he's 6'4", I believe, 6'3". Brilliant physically, great pace, great jumping reach, great strength, and you can see there his bravery and heading sort of back that up, and then dribbling, finishing in the first touch, all 12s, off the ball 12, composure 12. He's just a very average player. He's probably perfect for your League 1, League 2 sort of teams, which is why he's gone to Burton to try and get some first team football. Other than that, we see Longelo, he's left the club on loan. He'll be joining back at the end of the year, but again, he'll probably let him go on his contract, when his contract expires, should I say. Pete Signacco, so he's gone to West Ham. West Ham, want to bring him in and use him as their first team player, I believe, because he's played quite a few games for them so far, but I wanted him to go out. I didn't want to sell him just yet. I want to give him the opportunity to grow into a great player. The only issue with him being he's 6'1". Yeah, he just wasn't fantastic for us last year, was he? So he's gone on the move. Tyler Roberts, another player who has left the club. I think he's got a thing in his contract to leave on a mandatory fee after 25 games, 725k. Not going to set the Premier League alight, is he? So he's had to leave. Peter Atibo, he's gone to Getafe. So in his contract, you can see here, 11.25 million after 15 games played. We'll see if he actually makes that many appearances. But Peter Atibo, he has left the club as well. Jamal Lowe has also left on loan, but he'll be going for, I think, a final mandatory fee of 3.1 million, so that's another bit of money to come in for the club, which is brilliant for us. Sirikin Dembele's left, Dion Sanderson's left, Jallo's left, Matt Choi Jallo, who I thought might have been brilliant for us. 21 years of age on a free we brought him in for, was very average, but then he's gone to Toluca in Mexico. They've paid 7.25 million for him. Good luck to him. That's what I've got to say. Good luck to that man. Then, in the ins, Silla. We've brought in Silla. I can't believe it. Who's going to play in probably maybe like a deep line playmaker role. I think I quite like him in that. But for me, he can play the Metsala support role very, very well, and also could play potentially this box-to-box role incredibly well. Again, work rate and aggression 15. Brilliant for me. I love that. Physically pretty good. 5'7". Again, a bit of a beast in the midfield. A bit of a pest, should I say. 14 strength to accompany that. Not the fastest in the world, but good balance. Then you look at his technical ability. 15 long shots, 15 free kicks, 17 penalties, 14 passing, 15 vision, 14 dribbling, 14 first touch, and good corners and crossing. I think technically this man's very, very good. We brought him in on a free. If you can believe it or not, we brought him in on a free from Aruca. A few players sniffing around him, but 48 million. He's got a minimum fee release clause of 47.5 million for players teams in the Champions League, but we'll see if they activate that. But this man, he's got to start for us because wow, just wow. A man, apparently he's very, very good. Last year 7.08 for him. Let's see how he fares in the Premier League. Yannick Eduardo, we signed. Nipan, the man that I've always tried to sign in this year's FM, never managed to get him. Nipan, Sver Halseth Nipan, has come in. 18 years of age, he's going to be on the bench, going to be a bit of a rotation player for us. 3.5 million. 3.5 million we managed to get him for. He's been fantastic over the 3 years at Rosenborg. Now for us, let's see how he fares. He needs to figure out what I'm going to mould him into. It makes sense to make him an attacking midfielder, play him in that position, try and get his long shots up, try and get his free kicks up, penalty taking, work on his strength. I think I've got him in developing his strength, and his final third for the time being, his composure and decisions. But yeah, Nipan's coming 3.5 million. He's worth 70 to 83 million, 38.5k. We'll see if he starts any majority of the game. I want to try and rotate the side out as much as I can, find the best side. But then again, yeah, Nipan's in. You can always go out on loan. Kavlina, he's come in. He's the goalkeeper, 23 years of age. He's come in from Dynamo. So 5 million we've paid for him, I think. Is it total 5 million? 5.5 million total in the end. But he looks like a brilliant player. Are going to be our main goalkeeper. Going to rely on him. He's had fantastic previous years. He's worth 21 to 22 million already. Dynamo, we had a fantastic year last year. You can see here 10 clean sheets for him. When he was at Lokomotiva, he actually had a fantastic year as well, and then went to Dynamo and had a pretty decent season. And the first full season for Dynamo, 7.12, so we're going to rely on him in the Premier League. Araujo comes back. We managed to sign him, 5.5 to 6.5 million. Thomas Araujo. Let's see how he fares with us, because I want to keep him in. He's been part of the core. I don't want to, I don't want to lose the emphasis on that. We are Birmingham. We're going to try and bring these players through and nestle them into our squad. Not great work rate or, aggression, but the bravery's there. He was a standout player for us last year. I think he'd be pretty decent, and for 5.5 million, you can't really argue it, to be honest. We then brought in Elvis. Now, this man, this is more like it. This is the kind of guy that I wanted in our squad. Aggression, bravery, and then you look at the determination, teamwork, and work rate. Again, the type of guy that I want at the club. Then he's physically an absolute animal, the workhorse. Natural fitness 18, stamina 16. He's 6 foot. He's decent. He's decent in pace, decent in strength, decent in your agility and balance, and then technically could be a little bit better for my liking. 13 tackling, 13 marking, but he's in as the backup ball-winning midfielder for us, realistically. But he can play pretty much anywhere. He can play an advanced playmaker. He can play deeper. He could even play centre-back if we need him to, which is another thing that I just wanted to make sure about. But he is fantastic. He looks really, really good, and he can fit in pretty much anywhere. For 7.5 million, that's pretty good. And then Dennis Churkin, I wanted to sign him a few years ago from Sunderland, 800k. He then went to Tottenham for 6 million. Had a decent year at Ipswich, and then he wanted to leave Tottenham because he wasn't getting first team football. And I pounced 7.5 million. I think Dennis Churkin could be very, very good, and he's actually pushed Jurasek out of his place. You see him playing this wing-back support role, absolutely fantastic. 14s all round for his technicals near enough, great crossing and dribbling. 14s all round pretty much in his mentals, and then 15 work rate. Teamwork could be a little bit better. 15 determination, bravery and aggression being 12 and 13 is also good, and then physically he's a bit of a specimen. 15 stamina, 14 pace, 15 acceleration, 12 strength, and he's 6 foot. I mean, this man's going to be in the business. He's going to mean the business. So he's going to our side. So our tactic looks a bit like this. So we've got quite a lot of players in. As you can see here, we've actually brought in Donny van der Beek as well from last year. He's on 8.5k, if you can believe that. We're 30 odd million on a free. He left Manchester United, and he's come straight to us. He's not had a great few years, but he got injured almost immediately for 3 weeks. So I'll be monitoring him, but he's got good work rate, good teamwork. His determination's pretty high. I'd like to see him maybe get a bit better physically, but at 28 years of age, I thought, he might be a good role model to the attacking midfielders and the midfielders alike. Great passing, great technique, great first touch, good outside the box. I think he's a good, tidy player. So for getting him on a free and for so cheap on his wage, that's brilliant. And then Chris Smalling as well, a bit of experience, been there, done that. 35 years of age, Mike Smalling has joined us. So 13 strength, great jumping, great heading, great marking, great tackling, good positioning. I mean, his work rate and aggression is still quite high despite the fact he's 35. Bravery's 14. Determination's through the roof. Great teamwork. I think he's fantastic for us. He's not going to be our captain, but again, I think he's going to be brilliant for us. And he's on 5k a week, which is great news. So yeah, starting 11, Cavlina, Churkin, Araujo, Smalling, Laird. I really want to try and fire him home, try and make him like our mainstay. 13 for dribbling, 13 first touch. He's progressed last year in his position in marking, which is great, and then physically he's always been fantastic, 24 years of age. Then we've got in there Silla, João Gomez and Jordan James. Jordan James keeping his spot, keeping his position for now. He's worth 59 to 66 million. The Welshman, the man who's been at Birmingham for the longest. I want to try and develop him a little bit more, see if he's, what else we can get out of him. But he looks like a brilliant box-to-box. If you put him on that, I mean, he's got good finishing. And last year, if I just show you what he actually achieved last year, 12 assists, 6 goals. Wow, he even managed to outdo his year the year before, doubling his goals, getting about a third as many assists. Would you say a half as many assists? Third, 12 assists there. Not as many player of the matches because we had a fantastic year last year, but mentally, physically, and technically, this man's absolutely brilliant. And then we go into the top two. We've got Hutchinson and Toplovich from last season, who were a great partnership. And then Cameron Archer up front as ever in that advanced forward role. Wow, so that's the episode. Hopefully I've squeezed this down to less than 20 minutes, around 15, 20 minutes. 220, let me just double check. So live, as of now, 225 sub-managers. We've got 4 more since last episode of this recording. Absolutely sensational. Thank you guys for all the support. I'm hoping this is a big one for you. We've brought in massive transfers and overall spend of, let me just double check, an overall spend of 70 million, 50 million we managed to make on transfers leaving as well though, which is great. And then obviously you get that massive injection from actually getting promoted. Our finances are looking very healthy at a 30 million overall balance, but over the years, expenditure this month, we've got 18 million. You've got to invest early, and now we've got to try and remain above this relegation zone, which is going to be difficult, but we've got Leicester next time, where I'll be bringing you that as the episode 23. And yeah, let's get into that one. Back-to-back recordings. Let's see how that one goes. So thank you guys for watching as ever. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you in the next one. From me, Alex, have a great day. Ciao.